Dr. Swengel from RefinedMD. It's summertime and everyone now is asking us about what sunscreen to use. My first comment to that question is sunscreen should be used year-round. The ultraviolet light that attacks us is there on a daily basis, both summer and winter. You've got to understand that sunscreens are both chemical-based and physical-based. The chemical-based ones are typically the ones you get in a drugstore that are less expensive. They rely on all those chemicals kind of covering all the wavelengths of light all through the spectrum that can damage our skin. So they have to put 4 to 6 different chemicals in sunscreens to offer you that protection. What's happened recently is the state of Hawaii has actually banned some of these chemicals. So sunscreen manufacturers are really scrambling to try to come up with sunscreens that will work and yet not damage the coral reefs. I personally have always been in favor of zinc and titanium-based sunscreens. My personal favorite all the time is zinc. What used to kind of bother people about zinc was the fact that you'd put it on and you would look like a ghost. It was white, it was pasty, it was not attractive. Well, now they've actually micronized it and the products are very elegant, go on clear, and are really great to use. One other issue about chemicals is when you get sweaty and those chemicals get in your eyes, they burn. When you're in bright sunlight, some of those chemicals that are meant to protect you actually can cause photoreactions with sunlight. So zinc is just a very inert, calming product to use on your skin. I brought a few sunscreens out that are some of my favorites, and I'll explain why they're my favorites and why you might want to consider these in your skincare. Elta is really a very popular line in our practice. Part of it is because it's very elegant and also very price sensitive. So no sunscreen out of Elta line will scare you away. The Elements and Replenish, these are the same product. It's a pure zinc and titanium base, meaning there's no chemicals on your skin. The choice is whether you want to stay with a clear base or a tint. Now, tint's kind of an interesting issue. They all claim that tint has a universal quality to it. You can put a tint on anyone's skin and it looks good. I've actually found that some tints actually are kind of pink, so if your skin is kind of yellow, it's not going to look good. It's going to look like makeup. And vice versa, if your skin is yellow and you start putting a pink product on, it makes you look like you're kind of wearing a flesh-colored makeup. This product is one called UV Daily. I find for a lot of people who are very price sensitive, this is a great product. It's got a good moisturizing component to it, hyaluronic acid, and niacinamide to kind of control redness. And this one again comes in both a clear and a tinted one. Just to let you know, there are a lot of the other product lines we do have in the office carry products as well. Elastin has a really great one. Again, it's both zinc and titanium based. But a really interesting one that I personally have taken on as my favorite is one out of Israel. And this is a pure 12% zinc based product, goes on clear, but it has a product called Aerophotona actinica. Kind of a mouthful. But what this is a phytoplankton extract. And think about this, the oceans are full of phytoplanktons and they're actually trying to protect themselves from the damaging effect of sun. They don't tan, so they have another way to protect their DNA. And that's what this additive actually does with this sunscreen. It actually directly impacts the damaging effects of light on your DNA. And it can actually undo damage that's already been done. So who do I offer this to? People who aren't afraid of a little more expensive sunscreen, people who are very fair-skinned, people who spend a lot of time out in the sun who have these chronic exposure issues. So for those who are willing to step up to what I consider probably the best product on the market right now, it would be the ISDIN photo. When people ask me what are some of the most common mistakes in application of sunscreens, it's probably not putting enough on. I think often people think that this amount of sunscreen should last them through the entire summer. If you're really using it on a daily basis, this should last you 2 to 3 weeks if on just your neck and your face. As you start going off your face and neck, you have to use even more. My rule of thumb is a good healthy teaspoon or 2 for your face, neck, and behind your ears. I think the other issue that happens is if you're in and out of water, or if you are someone who really tends to sweat a lot, you need to keep reapplying it. Now, again, for those of us who are going to work, maybe going out a little bit lunchtime, going home at the end of the day, I think an application before you leave the house, and maybe a light application right before you go out to lunch, that's all you need. SPF is something that I think has gotten a little bit blown out of proportion. SPF only refers to the protection from the burning rays that only dealing with UVB. Realize that light is both UVA and UVB. Think of UVB as the burning rays. Think of UVA as the aging rays. So the test that was done to determine SPF was only for the products that protect you from UVB. The UVA rays are just as damaging, and they actually cause more photo damaging and are probably more likely to be the root cause of melanomas. UVB may be more of the root cause of basal cell carcinomas and squamous cells, but it's really the burning. I don't think we need to get into how they determine that, but what I say is you only really need to be thinking about a SPF of 30, if maybe not just a little more. The one thing that no one is aware of is that zinc, which is part of most sunscreens and all these sunscreens, doesn't even apply to the UVB determination, because zinc actually covers both UVB and UVA. Zinc covers it all. So why play around with chemicals and have to kind of deal with what SPF you have? Just get at least a SPF 30 and make sure it's zinc. This is one of the few times in this office I'm not wearing a mask because I need to speak to the camera. But when you come in, we expect you to wear a mask. We all wear a mask. New studies have shown that this virus is transferred via aerosolized particles. So for your safety and for everyone's safety around you, wear a mask.